Hey everyone, welcome to yet another dive into the Shadowverse here on the channel, where today we're finally talking about Dragoncraft. So grab some red hair dye and a big overflowing jacket, because we're about to be animated main characters. Before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to Deck Flare for being the inspiration for this video, because his build on 50 cards is kind of what inspired me to build this kind of playstyle. But because of the rush and buyout to get through that deck, and because of certain cards that cost certain amounts, I decided to make it my own challenge to build this deck for $40 less. Welcome to my Dragoncraft challenge. I think honestly the best way to do this video is just to show you everything on TCG Player. Shout out to my own page here, Skyward Games, for all your card game needs. Help support me on this channel so I can afford to make cool decks like this and do more videos like this in the future. So to get started, we're going to have to start off with the Dragoncraft starter deck right here, which is going to run you about $20. When I bought mine, it was like 16 to 18, so I was a little lucky because we're getting a couple important cards out of this. First of all, this one right here on the side, I don't even do anything, just Dragoncraft Oracle. Absolutely, massively, the reason I built this on my own and not going with the Deck Flare build. These things are like $8 on their own. Your playset of these pays for more than the deck itself. This card effectively either lets you ramp up to your next play point, making you play big boys faster, or let you draw a card if you don't really need play points anymore. So super versatile, tree drop. You're honestly, this could be the first thing that you play in the game. This could be what you mulligan for every single time. If you open these, you're good. End of story. Then the other two things that we get this tri deck for are right here, up this. We don't really have to scroll down. So we got Dragon Warrior, who is a solid evolution card. When he evolves, he's able to snipe a card. 3 costs for a 3/3 that turns into a 4/4. Also, you need a leader, of course, to play this game. Here's comes with a leader. And, of course, Dragon Waving Breath, a 1-drop, a quick play destruction spell that's able to deal 2 damage to something, or 4 damage if you are an overflow, limit break, you're at 7 more play points. That's the keyword for this deck. Between these 3 cards, you're looking at spending about $27, so just getting a Shroud deck on his own is a solid investment. Plus, you get all the rest of these guys if they matter. Moving on to the other cards of this deck, we'll start with our ramp engine outside of Dragon Oracle. But first of all, we got 2 Dragoncraft Fervors, which is going to be a 10-cent card. This is a huge 5-drop, but it gives you a couple of different effects. First of all, increase your play points by 1 like any other ramp card. However, it also lets you draw a card and restore your life by 3. So it's a solid thing that you do on turn 5/ earlier because you'll be ramping, and because this game is a mid-game, late-game deck, it's always good to gain life back if you happen to take a couple hits early on. Then our last ramp card is one of the more expensive cards in the deck, and that is Isla the Dragon Knight at 45 cents. Look at these prices drops. Thank you, Microsoft. Who is a real simple card. That's a 3-drop, 3/2 with last words, and that last words is that when she dies, you're going to be able to get one of those play point things, just like the 2 cards I just mentioned. So it's a really solid turn 3 play. She does have a skill so she can attack things that are not currently rested, and it's just a little body you can play early on in the game that'll help you get to your win conditions. What are those win conditions, you may ask? Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the Jabberwock. No, not that one. That's the expensive one. That one's decent. This is like $1. So this big boy is a 7-drop who says that when it's placed, you're able to sacrifice 1 of your other followers. And then when you do that, you dig through the top of your deck until you find something that costs 1 greater than the thing that you retired, and get to call that out for free. Because of this, you can be running a lot of things that cost 3 or less, so you can maximize on all of your targets, which I'll get to in just a second. But essentially it says, play this, kill a guy, get huge guy for free. Then in bottom decks, the rest of the stuff that you didn't get shuffled, go bottom deck. There you go. Cool stacking. You could actually stack in this deck between this and something that we'll get to in just a little bit. As for his targets, you get 2 Genesis Dragon, who's about a quarter right now. This is the 10/12 with Storm, just honestly a big booty. This is normally a 9-drop, turn 9 card. Off Jabberwock, it's like turn 5 because you're accelerating. Big butt. Have fun dealing with this. You just win the game with this in 2 turns straight out. You got everyone's favorite restricted card here. That's one of in every deck in Shadowverse. That's Shenlong. He has normal form and an evolved form. You run one of each, just like 45 cents. Boom. So this normal says that when you play, you're able to discard a card and to draw 2 cards. And then when he evolves, you just straight up gain 5 life. Both versions have ward. It's a 5-drop with ward. You don't have too much ward in this deck, so that's pretty good. And even better with the life in a draw. There's a reason this thing's at 1. Then the actual most expensive card in this deck at $5 with 1 for his evolution is going to be Lucifer, who's a big boy that has different effects based on what form he's in. In his normal form, he gets ward and lets you gain 4 life every turn. And then once he evolves, he instead will be dealing burn damage to your opponent every turn, and has Bane, the ability to just auto-kill anything it attacks. So you either have the Savior that heals you, or the Destroyer that kills everything. 2 in 1, very diverse card. Then my other random one of that's not a dragon is this lovely lady, who at 40 cents says that you're able to get ward and a fanfare to give one of your things +4, +3, and a sail. thus giving her stance to someone else while being ward. Look at this is our ward duo. Gabriel's really solid though, because even if you have nothing else, even if it's just her and the Jabberwock that you called her off of, she can boost up your Jabberwock, thus making your Jabber an 11-10 with the sail. Have fun dealing with the big bad dragon, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, you have to kill her first. Then my last superior call tech is what I'm doing as a 2 of, and that's this funny little horse girl. Hishi Akebono, I guess her name. I don't know, the only one I care about is Tachyon. She's pretty simple. Got a race, the race never matters. She doesn't have an erase effect. I don't know why they gave her a race, I guess. Just to give a rush. That's what Carrot does, gives you a rush. More importantly, when you place her as a 10 drop, that's 10, 10, guess what she does? Something involving number 10, and is giving you 10 life. That's right, you play this thing off of your Jabberwock, and you effectively have a double Shenlong. Really solid is a mid-late game card once you start taking damage, because like I said, you don't really have too much ward, and you are basically just ramping up to your big guys, so being able to instantly gain everything right back for no actual reason is really, really good. As far as ways to get into all these important pieces, like your ramped cards and your Jabberwock himself, we are running a 3-3 split of the Dragon Summoner, who is a bronze card that says nothing until you evolve her. She's just a 1-3 whatever. But she turns into a 2-4 booty that lets you check your top 3 for your Dragoncraft follower at your hand, and then put the other 2 in bottom of your deck, thus increasing your stackability along with Jabberwock. This helps you dig through all your targets, and T4 for 2 is not bad considering this is like the first card you're going to be playing in the game. That is in Dragon Oracle, of course. Pretty good 30-cent engine, all things considered. In addition to that, we got what's apparently my favorite card, because I run it as at least one of in every single deck. Why are people not running this? Altered Fate, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 10-cent card, so you can get it for cheap as butt. This is the whole point of this deck. And more importantly, when you play, you and your opponent are able to shuffle your hands back to deck. Then we draw the same amount of cards, you getting one more because it compensates for playing this card. If your hand sucks, if you think your opponent has a lot of cool plays and they're kind of board locks, they can't do anything, get new hands, get close to the Jabberwock, draw your ramp cards, I don't know. The important part is this a reset button. It says if your hand sucks, now your hand no longer sucks. Then round things off, since this is an Overflow deck, let's talk about a couple Overflow cards, starting off with a couple new ones. Dragon's Nest here is probably the only amulet we're going to consider running, and it is a 1-drop that says when you sack it off, you're able to gain 2 life, then if you happen to be an Overflow, you also draw a card. So to replace itself is a life gain button if you need it, and it's just a turn 1 play when you have nothing else to do. The more important one, of course, is this card, who I currently only have 1 of, but I can easily see fitting in a couple more depending on what you want to take out of deck, and that is Prime Dragon Keeper. This is a 1-5 3-drop, but those stats don't matter because it's actually just a 2-6 3-drop because, of course, you're going to be playing her during Overflow to activate her cool effects. And this is our first of all, give her Intimidate, which makes it so she can't be blocked or something. Intimidate's like the only keyword that I don't automatically know. If it is, it can't be blocked though, that's pretty solid because have fun dealing with this. That's not the important part at all. The important part is her secondary effect, which says that whenever you play another Dragoncraft follower that costs 3 or less play points, select the opponent's follower, deal it 2 damage, and then 1 damage to its leader. So effectively when you play all your little dudes on the way up to hitting your Jabberwock turns, or even little dudes after Jabberwock turns, you're able to start sniping things and slowly burn away your opponent's life. Pretty good for a $1 card. Honestly, like, you run 2 or 3 of these if you don't want to run this guy that everyone's going to tell me not to run, but I'm going to tell you about him anyways, because shut up, he's really funny. The Raging Flaming Poisoning Sword of Doom, how do you say that? It's a pretty simple 0-5 that came out of the last set, and you may be saying, why does this have 0 attack as a 3-drop? Well, it's because if you engage him, give him +5. If you're in Overflow, he gets +10 instead. 3-drop, 5-5. 3-drop, 10-5. This is a giant target. It's not always going to go off. You're not always going to be able to attack your opponent with it, or power it up all the way as you want to, because your opponent's going to attack it. But that's kind of the point. This is a big threat. If your opponent does not get rid of it, there'll be an ouchie town really fast. If they do get rid of it, thanks for tapping all your dudes so I can get rid of you guys. Of course, while we're talking about new cards, I should probably mention this chick. I mean, she's $3, but at our $4 budget, you could easily afford to tech 2 of these in. Sybil of the Waterworm, who is a new legendary. As a 3-drop, 3-4 that has no Overflow effect. That effect is, while you're in Overflow, she gets +1/+1, increasing your maximum play points by 1. She does the whole mana ramp thing while being a 4-5 for free. In addition to that, she has another cool effect. At the end of your turn, give your leader +1. If you're in Overflow, give it +2 instead. This chick is going to keep on healing you every single turn. She's a 4-5 if left alone, and it just makes your things go up. Overall, very good card. More importantly, she has a form that's Discount Aki. Moving back to cards that are actually in the deck though, our last evolving unit is a 3/3 split of Shapeshifter Mage. 2-drop that has a couple of cool effects. First of all, if you're in Overflow, he is a 5/5, and when you evolve him for 1, you're able to give him the abilities of Bane and Assail. Therefore, he can attack literally anything and automatically kill it. Even though without stat boost early on in the game, he's super important because he can just snipe anything for free. But if you happen to play him when you're supposed to play him, he's a 5/5, which is always good, because one of these guys attacking them is 1/4 of someone's life. Rounding things off, we have a couple more destructive spells, both of which we run a full copy of 3. First off is Dragonic Smash, which is a quick play spell that says you can deal something 2 damage, and then summon a Dragonic Weapon. These Dragonic Weapon tokens are just a fun little way to give one of you guys +1 defense in the armor class, which doesn't really matter too much, but you can combo with Draconeer if you feel like spending another $18 taking out your Dragonic Warriors and replacing them with Draconeers, who's a slightly better version of Dragonic Warrior that benefits more from having more armed units. Either way, solid 2-drop spell that lets you deal 3 damage to something, and of course it is quick, so you can play it during the battle phase if you need to. Then the final card in this deck, which rounded out a nice little lucky 7 cents, is a playset of Conflagration. The 5-drop that lets you deal 5 damage to everything. It is important to note this is everything, so even your own followers are going to feel a burn, but hey, field nukes are nice, and if you don't have anything to do on turn 5 and your opponent is starting to pressure you a little bit, not anymore. So that is my $40 challenge dragon deck. I think adding up everything between the trial deck and all the cards I just mentioned, we're looking at about $36 to build this bad boy. Maybe a little more if you feel like upgrading into something like the Draconeer or the Sybil. But in general, a moderately competitive deck that you can build for just under $40. From my various tests at locals and with other random people, this seems to have at least a 50% win ratio. So while it's not necessarily the best deck, it can certainly hold its own until you're able to upgrade it to what you need it to be. What do you guys think? How do you like building a deck for $40? What other classes do you think I can do this challenge with? Spoilers, I'm already working on another one. Comment your suggestions on what Shadowverse decks I should cover down below. And while you're down there, make sure that subscribe button's not red anymore, because subscribing is kind of a cool thing if you want to see some more Shadowverse content here on the channel. Honestly, I'm so close to hitting 200. Like, it'd be great to hit that next milestone. Become slightly more important as a YouTuber. But until next time, thank you all for watching. If you want to help support me on this channel, once again, TCG Player, I got that page where I sell card game stuff. Also, if you like energy drinks, I also do energy drink stuff. Raise Energy, code Skyverse to save 15% online. Repsports.com. Pretty good, very efficient, would recommend. I think I get like a 24 pack for like $25-ish after discount, so that's not too bad honestly. But I got a handful of other Shadowverse decks to show off, so until next time, always embrace the infinite. You guys still here? Awesome. Alright, welcome to the post end of the video where I have one secret tech for you guys that stuck around till the end. Make sure to comment Birdie if you actually made it to the end of here, because the card I want to talk about is Star Phoenix. This is another 3-drop who has a 1 cost to evolve and has an effect I'm going to read off after I read its evolve, because that's the reason to play this thing. When it evolves, it's just going to be a 4/4 that has a strike, and that strike says that you can select a follower and deal 2 damage. Really solid. As you remember, evolves can attack units the turn that they're played, so you just evolve your 3-cost card for 1, swing for 4 at whatever you need to swing at, and deal 2 to another thing. That's good on its own. Star Phoenix is of course a 3-cost, so it works really well with our strategy of popping off small guys to make big guys, and especially in the PDK engine we want to make little guys. But the more important part is the effect I haven't read yet, which says, during your turn, when you play a dragon spell, pay 1, put this card from the cemetery into the field. Of course it's going to revive as a freaking Phoenix. So essentially this thing is an infinite fuel thing. You can just play a spell, get a PTK burn, you can evolve and make a really cheap version of Draconeer, and he just keeps on coming back, so you can freely sack him off for your Jaguar plays. Definitely pick him up, it's like cheap as free, so that adds nothing to the value of the deck. Plus I just really like Phoenixes, like it's my favorite mythical animal, it's one of my favorite wooden roller coasters, you guys already know. Phoenixes are cool. Alright, I'm actually ending the video now. Thanks for sticking around.